Okay, we can start. 3 times. Oh, over there also 3 times. Oh, good. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay. So far we are looking at this Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, in which we have seen that 6 disciples approached the teacher, Pippala Rishi. And these 6 disciples also were not ordinary disciples. They also did a lot of penance. They also lived the value-based religious life. They did a lot of sadhana, upasana as well. As a result, they were Brahmaparaha, means they had connection with this cosmic consciousness. Okay. The cosmic consciousness was not alien to them, which is the case of the normal, ordinary or regular person. And having understood the connection with the cosmic consciousness, having connected with the cosmic consciousness, they knew there is something more beyond this cosmic consciousness as well. Okay. There is something beyond this relative consciousness as well. And they might have known this name also, they might have some idea about it also, they might have tried about also, but they could not succeed in that line, and that's why they decided. They were coming from different locations, different backgrounds, but somehow they united and they came to this teacher with the motive of knowing the absolute consciousness principle, the Brahman. And each student had some question to ask, but the teacher says, okay, first you stay 1 year over here in the ashram, serve the ashram with the discipline, with the faith, with the penance, and then we can have question answer session. So the reason behind was to have the tuning of teacher and the taught. The reason behind was, if the student is lacking some qualification, the teacher would first replenish that particular aspect. If the student is having a low attention span or low subtlety in intelligence, the teacher would give the student particular practice so that his instrument is perfected. Because with perfected instrument alone, this subtlest most science can be understood. In the absence, it may appear that I understood, but actually we may not get it. It might slip away after a while, or actually it's not got it at all. It's just a feeling that I got it. It might happen that way also. So there are many possibilities of how or what way one may not get it. There is one possibility of how one may get it. Only one. Means whatever it is, whatever the truth is, I know the truth the way it is, like that. So the students underwent all this proper disciplinary sadhanas, and then first student asked the question that I want to know the cause of this plural world, and the teacher says as a result, yes, the plural world should be causing from the dual world. And that dual world is coming from the Prajapati, Brahmaji, like that. So we can generalize this plural world into the dual, Rai and Prana. So that makes the understanding of this world easier. There is another way also that we see in terms of our senses, just how generalization helps us, just to know that the way we have plenty of different objects around us. In all objects, we cannot even comprehend, we cannot even number it also, so many of them. But if you want to generalize them, we can see that, okay, there are 5 categories. Okay, that is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. The category of touch, category of that form, category of sound, category of smell, category of taste. So entire universe comprises these 5 different type of Vishaya or objects. Okay, so generalization helps to comprehend the bigger things. So here also there is a generalization in terms of Rai and Prana. And it's not only just mere information, okay, this is Rai, this is Prana, but our awareness also should reach in that level, okay, that everything is a dancing or intermixing of Rai and Prana, like that. So having said that, the second student also comes up and says that I want to know more about what is the supreme principle in our body or in a cosmos as well. And the answer starts with one particular analogy where various the senses called devas are fighting amongst just to claim their own supremacy, and eventually the prana comes out as a supreme among all the devas. And furthermore, this prana not only beholds this body and gives the power to each and every senses or each and every devas to function as a function of eye, function of ear, function of hands and legs, etc. But also the same prana is also beholding the cosmos as well, the universe as well. Okay. Because of this prana only the sun is functioning, moon is functioning, rain is functioning, an entire cycle of this world is functioning. Because of this prana only the sun is moving around its own axis, the earth is moving on its own axis and also circling around the sun. The same for the another planets as well. Okay, so they remain in their particular position, or they sustain in that particular function because of the prana. So that prana principle is sustaining this entire cosmos. Okay, and the same prana principle is also sustaining this particular body. So connecting the prana in this body with the prana in the cosmos is the key. Because we have experience of the prana which is empowering this body. Okay. So that's the tiniest thread we have. Okay. Holding that thread very carefully, we can connect to the cosmos level, macro level prana, and that's the objective. Okay. And that's why this various prana based practice, various type of pranayamas, the pranayamas also are different order, like some are like ordinary ones, or ordinary, or I would say the beginners one can also perform. There are some subtle pranayamas also, or prana based sadhanas also, which can make us more subtle, or more subtler realm of the prana becomes aware. We become aware of the subtler realm of the pranas, like that. That way it goes further towards the cosmic principles as well. Okay. So that prana is been praised over here in this second section, and it says that the way the spokes are connecting the rim and hub, and that's why there is a will, and the functioning of the will is possible. The same way the prana is a connecting factor between all gross and subtle, small and big objects or phenomena. The prana alone acts as a gravitational pull, prana alone acts as an electromagnetic pull, prana alone acts as a respiratory system, prana alone acts as a just seeing power, like that. So there is a variety of power in the universe, but that behind that variety there is a unison, and that unison is called prana. Okay. That we have seen earlier that even science is also trying to discover, that single force which is governing this entire universe. So that single force is named by Upanishad as prana. It goes that way. Various different forces are being generalized into, say, 4. We know that. Now, furthermore, what is that single force which is, governing or maintaining the universe the way it is? That is prana. Okay. And that prana is also known as Prajapati, also known as Brahmaji, and also known as Hiranyagarbha. Okay. So the objective of glorifying this prana is that a sadhaka or individual gets promoted, inspired to do this prana upasana. Upasana means for the long time, consistently, with intensity, with the right spirit, performing certain practices with keeping this prana in mind. Okay. So that I become prana aware. My awareness towards prana becomes, see, right now individual prana we are aware of. Okay. But beyond the limit of this body or the skin, we are not aware of at all. What we can see at most is that there is another force which is acting on me. Like that we can say, So it is the same force which is functioning this body and the universe and this tree and etc. We can just connect with. That particular awareness we need to develop. Okay. And for that, spiritual practice, which is called upasana, is necessary. It is necessary. See, one is a appreciation, that I appreciate the fact, and that also can be based on the faith in our scriptures, faith in our great masters. Okay, partly the faith and partly my own intelligence, combination of both. It's fine. But that appreciation alone doesn't transform me. Okay. Appreciation alone doesn't have capacity to transform me. Our life should be in line with that awareness or in line with that appreciation as well. Okay. And for that, certain practices are a must. Okay. And those practices are called upasana. The upasana is a must. Okay. And that's why, as a result of this performing the upasana for a long time, our old conditioning, our old belief system gets faded away. It takes time, it gets faded away. And this new awareness, what we have appreciated already, we become more and more gravitated towards that, more and more grounded into that, and it slowly and slowly becomes our second nature as well. Okay, in terms of understanding, and then over the time in terms of our own vision as well. Okay, so it should go to that level. Yeah, upasana has that much power. It can connect us with the cosmos. Okay, and when we connect with the cosmos, we get to know that there is no I and cosmos. For current understanding at present is find the I and cosmos, but then what we can see, what we can visualize, what will be our vision, that prana over here is the same prana over there. Okay, and the only limiting factor or the boundary is this body. Okay, this body, the skin, that's all. But actually that same prana is everywhere. Okay, so in the relative standpoint, this awareness helps us to great extent to go beyond the realm of relativity. First of all, there has to be unison in relative world. Not that I have nothing to do with this world, I just go within. No, it doesn't happen that way. In meditation, upasana means again meditation, the higher type of meditation with particular objective, with particular, the understanding, So in the meditation, I want to know, being an individual, I am this cosmos, which is the fact. But because of my strong dehatma buddhi, or strong body identification, grossness, I cannot even imagine myself beyond this skin, beyond this body. All I see is you, he, she, it, like that. It goes that way. Okay. So first of all, that barrier we need to bring, or we need to break, and for that upasana helps immensely. Okay. And that is a sign of purity of heart. That is a sign of subtlety of intelligence. Our intellect has become more and more subtle, because subtler the intellect, it's more pervasive. Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda says that subtlety is measured by pervasiveness. Subtlety is measured by pervasiveness. The subtler the instrument, it's more pervasive. Okay. And grosser the instrument, it's lesser and lesser pervasive. So the base chetana or base awareness is what? I am the body. And full stop. We need to rise above this particular, the very, very narrow notion. And for that, such understanding and understanding based upasana, spiritual practice alone helps. Okay. And that's relatively easy. Relatively easy compared to what? Compared to connecting with the attributes-less consciousness principle. compared to attribute-less consciousness principle. If we compare with that, this one is relatively easy.
Can you explain that again?
How? How come?
Yeah, what did you mean by attribute-less?
Attribute-less consciousness principle means the conscious, pure consciousness, yes. Another word is a pure consciousness. And consciousness principle with attribute, it means the consciousness which is manifesting through this cosmos. Mm-hmm. So through cosmic powers, through cosmic elements and objects, I connect with that consciousness, isn't it? It becomes easier. Getting? And attribute-less consciousness or pure consciousness means there is no connecting media over there. It's very, very hard. So here the teacher or the Shruti Mata is giving us a relatively easier practice to perform, perfect in that particular practice, and then try for the attribute-less or the pure consciousness becomes success. Because based on desire, anybody can just start doing, meditation on attribute-less consciousness, we know, but unless the person is qualified enough, the success chances are of course bleak. Okay, and that's why upasanas are very much needed, very much essential.
Would it be right to say that moving from identification with our body to identification to cosmos is within consciousness with attributes?
That's correct.
It's still with attributes.
That's correct, yes.
And it's one step before going to merging with cosmic consciousness.
With the pure consciousness. That's true. It goes that way, yes. So like a landing, where like in a stage way, I merge myself with the total, and then I merge myself with the infinite. Infinite again without attributes or without any gunas, any qualities, So that's the fundamental idea, and Upanishad endorses this very much, So apart from giving the knowledge of self, pure consciousness principle, the Upanishad also gives the knowledge of these upasanas, connecting with the cosmic consciousness. The technical word is called Hiranyagarbha. And one more fact, that any sadhana, any upasana of any devata, we say Shivji, Krishna Bhagavan, Ganesh Bhagavan, Mataji, like that, even Guru, okay, has two stages. Okay, it lends us to two stages. The stage one is this cosmic consciousness, right? And stage two is a pure consciousness. It goes that way, And see, that's why it's said Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. He is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. He is taking care of entire universe like that. It goes that way, or at least my world. So, connecting with the cosmic consciousness with help of Guru, with help of my Ishta Devata, okay, is the key. Even a few darshanas or a few philosophy in the Indian, in the Hindu fold only, I'm talking, they endorse that connecting with God as a cosmic consciousness is it. That much is sufficient, Try doing that only, and that's plenty. Like that also they say. Okay. Because that also gives tremendous joy, satisfaction, contentment, and free from fear. Because fear comes only with the body. We can trace any and all kind of fear finally with this body only. We can trace it. if we intelligently, if we calmly just trace it, it will come to this body only. So when my awareness has gone beyond this body, I connect with the cosmos, my fears also gone. My sense of insecurity also gone. And that's the only way, only and only way to get rid of the insecurity, get rid of fear. No other way. Remaining a body consciousness, I want to get rid of fear. It's just getting the water from the mirage water. We can think, okay, that much only. I'll just run that much extra mile and I'll get it. But that also goes further. So that's the baseline. The body which gives us sense of joy, sense of being or living, same is the cage also in which we are the prisoner. Okay.
So any trace of fear that we can identify in us is a clear indication of how far much we need to go through.
That's true also. If there is a fear, then we need to, see that way also that, journey is left to be done, And and relatively easier journey is that I connect with the higher, which is with attributes. It's relatively easier. It's not that easy, so easy, but relatively yes. I connect with my guru, okay. And again, I consider guru as not only a form. Like Ma is not only that particular height and that particular color, skin and that. No. That is yes. It's not only. It's plus that body, there is cosmos. That prana shakti. That Ma Shakti, we can name whatever we want, or as per our will or as per our faith system. Yes, but it is cosmos, And that way, our entire structure, our entire psychological system is convinced. That's the ideal. Entire psychological system should be convinced. That's the ideal. Okay. And for that upasana.
Upasana means practice.
Spiritual practice. Upasana means spiritual practice. Upasana also means meditation. Upasana means a combination of meditation and some ritual. It can be varying. Okay. But in which the main core function, the core feature rather, is that I connect, this individual with the total. With help of Guru, with help of Ishta, it's fine. Okay. So, I, as I proceed in Upasana, more I proceed, my individuality or my body identification, which is like a hooked over here, gets melted away. And as it gets melted away, I expand. That's a natural. That's natural. I just said earlier elsewhere that how it feels like, that we be in a body is just like the elephant is fitted in a matchbox. Elephant is fitted in a matchbox, whatever, how, somehow, So as the identification shades away, there is expansion. That should happen. That's the sign. The person is naturally less and less selfish. And in our heart, we know how much selfish we are and how much selfless we are. We know. Okay. So that's the beauty of Upasana. Yes, we should consider that. And
Mother Krishnabai made an interesting comment. She said, when I see a snake, I'm afraid. I'm naturally afraid. But I see the fear as part of the whole. Something like that, but I can't remember the exact words. So she didn't reject fear as such, but she saw it as part of the one total.
Okay. Nice statement. Similar statement I recall. That is from J. Krishnamurti. He just narrates the incidents happened to him. That he said that last night, maybe he was telling like that. Last night I was just reading on my sitting on a chair. There was a table, and next to table there was a window open, and the monkey jumped in. All of a sudden, the monkey was right on the table, right in front of me. And the JK says that I was stunned. Because of the sudden appearance, there was a trace of fear also. But then it disappeared. When something happens all of a sudden, so then that thing happens, which we call fear or self-mechanism of protecting this body, which is in auto mode already. And that's why some objects comes to us, to our eyes. We don't need to consciously close the eyelids. It closes automatic. So that self mechanism is different than the fear. We can separate two. The same thing also I recall of Gandhiji. I guess Paramahansa Yogananda visited Gandhiji, and maybe they had a conversation that Gandhiji was just experimenting and living based on satya and ahimsa, truth and non-violence. So they are discussing, and Gandhiji also confessed it, that yes, I am talking about non-violence, yes, and he says if the snake comes just in front of me all of a sudden, or just comes, there will be fear, okay, or there might be fear, he said. And out of fear, the violence comes, So I need to be always watchful, okay. I need to be always alert and watchful that my instincts, don't take over. Okay, so that's the extension of thought what I am putting, but he only just said that much only, that if the snake comes, there might be fear, and out of fear might be violence, Okay. So over there, how I practice non-violence is a challenge. That was his message, Okay, that was his message. So self-protection mechanism over here in this our psyche also takes charge in these sudden moments. But when the sudden moment is over, now we are conscious about the situation. Snake is there, or tiger is there, and all. We know there are many saints, they just loved that snake, they loved that, tiger, such a way as though it's just like a small cat, or a pet. We know that state also, we know that incidences also, That I remember, again, things, the incidences just comes now. The Yukteswar Maharaj, Yukteswar Giri, that is a guru of Paramahansa Yogananda. Another incident was that like a snake was just coming with the hood, seems to be angry, approaching the Yukteswar Giri. His fellow disciples were very, very afraid. They panicked like anything. And the snake was approaching the Yukteswar Giri only, the guru only. So, and very near, like 3-4 feet, that's all. So they're afraid what would happen next moment, And Yukteswar Giri was laughing, and they're also clapping. Generally if you clap or move, they will bite, definitely. You need to be steady and still like a rock, So he was just laughing and clapping, come, just like they are calling the pet. The snakes are not pet. And he was certainly not. The snake came nearby, and just like a pet, just lowered his hood and was like a smally boy. Calm down, just steady almost, slowly like waving his tail, and that's all. Just like dog does, tick 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 tick. The same thing here also. And after a while, just moved away between two legs of the Yukteswar like that. So these are the also cases, So distinction between two, like a sudden movement as self, protection mechanism activates, but what happens afterwards is the key, is our state. We can say that also.
I think in the case of Mataji, this is different.
Is it different? I know, yeah.
It was fear, but it was not seen as fear, it was seen as the root of fear, which is whenever you're conscious of anything, it's only consciousness after all. Whatever you see, if you're aware of it, the core of it is that you're aware of it, that consciousness. I think that was her perception.
Maybe, but because when we read or understand Mahatma, we get to know more about inner sense, kind of, So that way you might say it might be that way only, But the baseline is that this upasana or this kind of meditation, upasana means meditation for long, dedicated, I'm married to this particular idea, and it's not just a mere thought in my intellect, but I'm married to it. It means that I'm living with that idea, That is.
Also should be free to drop it. It may come to a point where one is led beyond that particular.
That's true. Yes.
And then one shouldn't hang on to it.
That's very true.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. That's true. Because that any spiritual practice is subject to pick up and subject to drop also for the higher spiritual practice. So that's true. But what happens that this is how the cosmos helps us. When we pick up something and we gain the enough benefit of it, we get the hints, we get the suggestions from the cosmos, we get the upadesha from even Guru, to move on to the next. That also is the key. I think we move on to the, Christopher?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
To the next question. Now the next question will go in. The question 3. And question 3 is also interesting again, is a thought development. The same prana again goes further. Now it has connection with what is the cause of prana, where prana originated from. We'll see. Now third question, in the third query, I'll chant the first mantra. Atahi enam kaushalyahascha ashvalayana papracha bhagavan kuta esha prano jayate katham ayati asmin sharire atmanam va pravibhajya katham pratisthate kena utkramate katham bahyam abhidatte katham adhyatmam iti. Like that. Actually it is called third question, but technically there's a bunch of questions over here. So then we'll see the third student who comes up, his name is a Kaushalya Ashwalayana. Kaushalya Ashwalayana. Atha. See, Atha is also a significance that, after these two questions are being answered properly, and there is not much to say from teacher's side, it's clear, and then slowly the third student stands up, approaches the teacher, goes near to the teacher, and then asks the question. Sit down near the teacher and asks the question. Is very, I would say, very mannerful teaching process. It's not like all start talking together, and the teacher is also perplexed, whom to answer what. Nothing like that. It's very methodical, and there is a thought development also. We see that first question is in line with the second, that the second is also goes further, and the third is in line with the second, like that, So here, Prashna Dvaya Anantaram. Okay. Hi enam, again Pipaladam, to Pipalada. This question is asked, and now the quotation from the student. Hey Bhagavan, O Lord, that's how the reverence is been displayed or showed by the student. See, that's very important. That's very significant also, I would say. After 1 year stay, the reverence is maintained, or reverence is increased. Okay, that shows the health of the relation. Here there is a relation of Guru Shishya, teacher and the taught. If there is some psychological deformity, one or another, any kind of, something, some own view, personal view, etc., the reverence will be hampered to that extent. It will happen. One might superimpose one's own thinking, ideas, or doubts over the teacher. That happens. Okay. So Bhagavan, that also shows, okay, yes, that the students are of the right ideal caliber. Okay. It's not a blind reverence. 1 year they have stayed. 1 year is not a small time. And they are not just doing some job 12 hours or 14, just come ashram to just sleep only. Whole day they see each other. They interact also. They observe also each other. And this is how the reverence has generated. Okay. That's important. Kutaha eshaha pranah jayate? That's the question 1. There is a pack of questions over here. Means this prana. No, you're talking about this prana, oh Lord, or Guru, you talked about this prana, which is beholding this body, beholding this cosmos, vyashti, samashti, like that. This prana, what is the cause of this prana? Where this prana came from? That's the question you asked yesterday also, right? Where this prana came from? Kutaha eshaha prana jayate? That's the first question. The bunch of questions, sub-questions, packed into one. Katham asmin sharire ayati? How this prana enters this body? Okay. Katham va atmanam va katham pravibhajya pratisthate? Third question. How prana self-divides and stays in this body? First, how it enters, and then how it stays. By subdividing oneself, the prana itself, and how it stays. There we know that prana subdivides into 5. Prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana. 5. How it subdivides? That's the third question. Question 4 is, see, this Upanishad is full of questions. That's why Prashna Upanishad. Name is Prashna. Okay. It's not only literally 6 questions. But under 6 there are many questions. Kena utkramate? This is a very nicer way of death, of telling death. Kena utkramate? Very nicer word of the death, How the prana comes out his body. When somebody passes away, we say also that way also. Okay, his or prana has gone out. The prana has departed for good. And like that we say. So, kena utkramate? That's the question 4. There is much more. Question 5 now. Katham bahyam abhidatte? Means, this total prana, how it sustains the external universe. Okay. How that external universe is sustained by this prana? What is the role of the prana? How it does that? And another one more question. Okay. Katham adhyatmam abhidatte? Adhyatmam here means individual level. How this Vyashti prana beholds this entire system. We have seen earlier in second section rather, we would say, that all 19 different devas or elements are being taken care of by the prana. Okay. And Panchadha Pravibhajya Prana Apan Vyanudan Saman also takes care of the physiological function of this body. Okay. So this prana, this power, this Shakti, this energy, whatever name we call, because these are the synonymous names. Okay. In that line, I have a question. And he asked these 6 questions. Okay. These are the 6.
Raise the 6th question. I'm not too clear about the last one.
The 6th question means the last question what I said, Katham Adhyatma Abhidatte, how the prana beholds this body, all the 19 components like organs of perception, organs of action, like that, and mind, intellect, memory function, and ego. Mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. Okay. So that way there are 6 questions, 6 sub-questions. Okay, and packed in a one, which is called third question by the third disciple.
He's actually cheating. It's not. He was asked one question. And,
no, that's not the way. That's true.
the way the gurus let him get away with it.
Then he should stay for 6 years in an ashram.
Yeah.
Then 6 questions are fine. So, well, the gurus, have that compassion. That's okay. So here, this prana, the question regarding the prana. Now, because the question comes about the cause of the prana, we should have the distinction of the 2 levels. That one is a statement that Brahman is a substratum of this universe. Now, I'll come to that level also. And here so far we have seen that prana is substratum of this universe. Okay. Prana is holding this universe. Another statement is that Brahman is holding this universe. Okay. So, now how we can reconcile with these 2? So, prana holding this universe, okay, that's a relative truth. Cosmos level, it's true. And that prana or that energy, okay, belong to Brahman? No. That prana or energy belong to Maya. Okay. Any kind of power, Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Gnana Shakti, like that, it goes in that basket. Why not in a Brahman basket? Brahman? Because Brahman, the pure consciousness we are talking here, actually is Brahman is attributeless. Brahman, there is no change in a Brahman. But within cosmos, we see a lot of inner changes, interchanges. And that's why that principle of energy has come, that energy can be converted from one type to another. Energy can be interconverted from one type to another, and total energy, grand total energy, cannot be increased or decreased, cannot be created or destroyed. It cannot be created or destroyed. It can interplay is possible. That's the principle discovered by science. Okay. So, within realm there is a change. The Brahman is a absolutely changeless principle. So now we can think, now we can even comprehend to certain extent that how subtle Brahman is, how abstract Brahman is.
Isn't Brahman the same as prana then?
See, that's what is the difference. Brahman here is equal to pure consciousness or attribute-less consciousness, whereas prana is attribute with consciousness. Getting? So that's the difference. Means I have something to notice, and something to notice is what? Attributes. Okay. And of course, I am not stuck with the attribute itself. Okay. My eyes through attribute goes to that consciousness only. But still there is attribute. Okay.
But prana is an emanation of Brahman.
Prana is an
emanation.
It emanates from. Yeah, that answer will come now. We can see very clearly. Because that's the question asked, no? That where prana comes from. Where's the origin of prana? We'll see that also. Right now, I'm just making a broad distinction between now, because now that part has come, that okay, we also distinguish that with attribute Brahman and without attribute Brahman. Okay, or prana and Brahman. Okay, so need to know is that ultimately the object of knowledge is definitely attribute-less Brahman or pure Brahman. Okay. And this student, Kaushalya Ashvalayana, he's asking towards that direction only. Okay, it's going slowly that direction only. And that's why Prana Mahima has been done, the glorifying the Prana. And Prana Upasana have been subscribed also. Here also in this chapter, in this section also we'll see that Prana Upasana, we'll see that also. So it seems that Prana is Brahman. Okay. And that's why this subtle distinction is necessary. It's necessary. Okay. Yes, absolute attribute-less Brahman is different. That is called apekshika. With respect to certain attributes, basically. So, the prana is greatest in the universe, okay, but absolute greatest is a Brahman, the pure consciousness. Okay, so that distinction slowly will come. Okay, and now we can also say that's why in the line of Vedanta also, the Upanishad is Vedanta only, that prana is also born. Prana is also born. In our Purana also we say the Brahmaji is born out of navel of Narayana. Okay, because entire Purana is symbolic of the spiritual principles. It's a symbolic of Upanishad. Okay. Or Hiranyagarbha, that another technical name, Hiranyagarbha, is called Prathamaja, firstborn. Born out of something, no? The firstborn, like that.
Ma was very keen on Padmanabha, where the Brahman comes out of the navel, and Vishnu is lying, just chilling out on the sea or whatever.
Yes.
So that somehow she appeared to identify herself with that in some way.
Okay, yes. Did Ma say something in that line also more?
Yeah, she said, I am Padmanabha.
Perfect, okay.
But she used to speak according to who was with her.
That's
so
true.
They would invoke whatever she said.
That's true. So in this, that Narayana just lying down, nishkriya, no kriya, no actions, just lying down. And from Narayana's navel comes that lotus, and the lotus there is a Brahmaji, and Brahmaji creates the Srushti, okay, the all entire world, cosmos. So that Narayana, in principle, if we can see, that's the pure consciousness or Brahman, where there is no action. There is no action. There is no action of even giving birth to Brahmaji also. Even that also is not there. Okay. So at Narayana level or pure Brahman level, the fact is something different. It is just like we look at the mountain, okay, or we look at the surrounding from the ground versus we look at the surrounding from the tip of the mountain. The vision is different, So here also the same thing happens. We'll see in form of answer only. It will be more interesting, but that's exactly what is happening. So the point is, when there is a relativity, no matter how high is, there is a upasana. That's the area of upasana. That's the area of spiritual practice in relativity. And when we are dealing with absolute consciousness, there is a knowledge. So one is upasana kanda, another is a jnana kanda. And one who has practiced and perfected oneself by upasana kanda is entitled for the jnana kanda. Such person is eligible to gain the knowledge, and knowledge will just come to that individual as Ramana Maharshi says, the dry wood or gunpowder. Zup, and knowledge there. Yes. Okay. So here, now slowly we are drifting towards like the cause or core level. Now, so anything relative standpoint, upasana. Okay. Okay. With the same God, say Shiva, example. Okay. The same Shiva, can be worshipped as a upasana also. And the same Shiva, okay, also can be connected as a jnana also. So based on the caliber of student, based on caliber of bhakta, based on caliber of sadhaka, one will identify with that particular aspect of Shiva. Okay. And it can be also, please take care of my son or daughter, please take care of my finance. That can be also, it's fine, it's been accepted in our culture, because tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. You are my parents. I'll ask, if I don't ask to my parents, who else will ask? I'll ask, where I'll ask. So that is also be accepted. Okay, please take care of this. I'm having a lot of pain, please take care of that also. I want maja, please take care of this also. So that is also the case. And then I identify yourself with yourself, as the universal consciousness. Gradually it goes. Or I and you are one. The oneness principle. Okay. So such the hierarchy is beautifully laid down in a single symbol. And such there are many symbols. So as per nature and aptitude of the student or the sadhaka. But the point is, we move ahead in that line. That's the point. And as our eligibility is, so should be our sadhana. So should be our spiritual practice. We can have primary and secondary, but our primary should be as our eligibility is. That's necessary. That's intelligent choice. Okay. So we have seen the 6 questions. Now we'll see the 6 answers, one by one. I'll chant the second mantra. Tasmai saho vacha ati prashnan pruchhasi brahmishtha asi iti tasmat te aham bravimi. Tasmai kaushalyaya shishyaya. To that disciple, saha means Pippalada Rishi, the teacher, he uvacha. He told, he replied. And what was his first reply? Tvam ati prashnan pruchhasi. You are asking too much. You just said one question and there is a bunch of questions packed into one. What is this? See, the teacher also said the same. You are asking too much. There are some people, they approach the Swamiji and say, okay, Swamiji, I have one question. Okay, so you ask. And that one question lasts 45 minutes. And that question is a lot of explanations, lot of different possible answers also, his choice of answer, everything is there. And end of the so-called question, the person asks, what do you say, Swamiji? The poor Swami says, you are right. Silence is the answer. Well, that's a different thing. Here the student is very inquisitive, wants to know a lot more, The question, of course, kind of, he says, Ati prastan puchati, your question is going like beyond the limit, as though, Sometimes, even in the case of child also it happens. The children, small children, they keep asking questions and parents are so much annoyed. Half of the answers they don't have also. And they also say the same, that you are asking too much.
Pippalada, he did say, look, I'll answer if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So he did give that
earlier,
proviso in the beginning.
In the beginning he said, yes, that's true. So I think he paved the boundary first. Okay, that's fine. No? But here, that the teacher is compassionate. He says also further, the Brahmishtha asi, you are Brahmagnani. He praises. He admires the disciples shooting questions. Brahmishtha asi. Okay, good. Bravo. Sharp intellect you got, You are catching up, very nice. Okay, that way he says. Even Shankaracharya also says in his Bhashya, he says that Brahmishtha asi means is a futuristic. That you are Brahmagnani. Means you will get knowledge. Like, for example, if somebody enters into the law college, we just start saying lawyer. MBBS means medical college, now doctor. You are he or she didn't get the degree so far, but doctor, like that. The same way, the bhavishyat vritti, futuristic. Same way here also. One, we know that person, the disciple has done proper the Saguna Brahma Upasana. That way Brahmishta is there. That way Brahmapara is there. Yeah, he's. But now, absolute Brahman also, one will have that knowledge. So, the teacher is also optimistic. Teacher is encouraging the student. Yet you will get it definitely. Okay. So, you are asking so many questions. It's fine. No problem. So, tasmat. Thereafter, having said this, okay, that about so many questions you are asking, but it's good. Aham te bravimi. Because your sincerity, because I can see that you will get the knowledge, I'll answer all your questions. The questions are very subtle. Okay, so be ready for equally subtle answer also. Because at times people ask the question about samadhi. What is the difference between savikalpa samadhi and nirvikalpa samadhi? But when the answer comes, they're like a sparrows just going around him. They don't care. So should not be that way. So the question are subtle, yes. Question has interlinks also. Be alert enough that you can catch the answer, so that my putting forth the effort becomes a success, becomes a worthy, like that. So that also we can add into over here. You are asking too many questions is fine, but now be ready. Okay, I'll answer each question one by one, no problem. Okay, and then there is a answering of question. We have time. So in that case, I think that much would be enough, actually, because the capacity over here also we have to see. Yes, so that much would be enough, because there is a stuff into this lesson as well.
Right.
So apart from the shravanam or listening, there should be time just to inner contemplation, conscious one, and just to remain in that awareness. That should be also the time, just to remain in that awareness. It helps sinking in. Yeah. So we'll hear, and the answer we'll see evening. Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Jai Ma.